And the consequence will be something she will take responsibility for because she was doing what she wanted, not what mom said to do. So she will begin to value the word she gives to her life and begin to give better and better word to her life as a result of the experience of consequences or results or fruits. Consequences is not the best word. The fruits of her actions will help her make better choices in the future. The fruits of poor choices are uncomfortable, and the fruits of good choices are a blessing. She's got to have the experience, so she's making the choice for herself, not out of obedience. All of you, to one degree or another, make good choices out of principle. It's a principled thing to do it this way. And you do it that way, and it turns out that it was a good choice. But all of you who are still basing your actions on principles are not fully engaged and connected with your life, because you should be making choices from your experience. When push comes to shove for those who are living according to principles, you are likely to buckle and abandon the principle and make an absolutely essential choice, whatever that might be from your point of view at that moment. All of a sudden now, you will be connecting with life and responding not from your intellect, but from another place. It's a place of genuineness. It's a place of involvement with life. It's a place of connection with life. And the result of that is learning. Now you have learned why you make these kinds of choices. You see? Now you can speak from experience. And now what you say will not only have value for others, but what you will say will come from a place of balance in you, a place of equilibrium in you, which operating from principles doesn't develop. When you are obedient to rules that somebody else gives you, you must compulsively act on that basis. And to compulsively be obedient does not embody your equilibrium. And your equilibrium comes from experience. And this is what you want to promote with your daughter. The equilibrium that comes with experience, not the peace that comes from obedience to principles that she doesn't even understand. You see?
Yes, I do.
I encourage you to get the tapes and listen to my answer to you again, because it's very important. It's important for you because in many ways you're still being obedient. In many ways you're not. And you deserve the grounded balance that comes from daring to have experience rather than obediently following principles that have never given you the experience that allows you to really know why you're doing it that way.
I know, I'm always trying to do the right thing.
Indeed.
It takes away from the experience sometimes.
It denies you the experience. You may have things moving evenly in your life, but it's not because you're actually connected with life.
Having a teenager
Stretches you immeasurably.
It's changing me so much every day, every week. I have to be big.
Indeed.
So maybe I'll be bigger for the next child's experience.
You can count on it. And in many ways, it'll be easier for you and for her than this one.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's not only about her growing, it's about you growing. Her growth will be stunted if you don't allow her to have the experience that gives her a grounded and balanced perspective.
There'll be a lot of opportunity over the next several years. It's so many things are coming up.
I will tell you something else. She, just like you, needs to have someone there to have confidence in her choices and who will recognize and convey to her the fact that she hasn't lost her integrity as a result of poor choices and their consequences, so that she has the courage and self-confidence to make better choices in the future. It's a scary thing. And yet at the same time, as you're aware, teenagers have a certain sense of careless bravado that helps them move across or past their fear and take steps and experiment and have experiences and learn. Do not squelch this. But at the same time, don't sacrifice your integrity. Oh, but Mom, everybody's smoking pot. Come on, can't we have a pot party Friday night? No, you can't. Not in my home. When you've managed to be able to have a place of your own, what you do on Friday nights is your business. You see? So you're going to say no about some things, but only when it overrides your integrity, not your personal preferences.
I'm going to have to stay in contact.
With yourself.
Yes.
Wonderful. That's good news.
I've been trying harder the harder this gets. It's forced my hand.
It's much better than going through life unconscious of yourself. When you stay in touch with yourself and you know where the limits of your integrity are, and you don't violate them and you act within the limits of your integrity, you become a much more valuable person to be with than the one who avoids paying attention to herself and just lets anything happen and then feels bad. Can't quite make out why I'm so miserable. Well, it's because you weren't paying attention to yourself. And you did something that in your right mind you wouldn't have done. And you never would have done it if it hadn't been for her. You never would have done it if it hadn't been for the fact that you were willing not to be in touch with yourself and your limits. And then stood firmly with your limits. Yeah, you're talking about being more conscious, less unconscious. I'm so glad she's doing this for you. She'll make it. And the mantle of authority will transfer to her shoulders. And it can either be rugged in all likelihood it will be slightly uncomfortable rather than rugged. And it's not likely to be smooth. The reason being that she's breaking boundaries. She's doing something that all of you have become reluctant to do. She's breaking boundaries. And that's what stretches you. And it's a capacity that it really has been incorrect for all of you to let go of. And part of the reason that you find it difficult to engage in awakening is because you have to let go of your boundaries. You have to invite the breakdown of boundaries. And you have to dare to step into the unknown. And you have, for the most part, abandoned your courage, which your daughter has an abundance of. Oh no, don't upset the apple cart. Things are going so well, do we have to do this? Rather than, you know, things have been going rather smoothly for a while. It's time for something new. Things are getting a little dull. It's time for something new. And instead of doing outrageous worldly things, I'm encouraging you to engage in something new by wanting to wake up to the kingdom of heaven right where you thought the world was. But you have to have courage because you're going to change. You're going to experience yourself in a different way. And you're going to say, where did this me come from? Transformation, regeneration, the renewing of your mind, being in a new way. That's what it's all about. And in many ways, especially with those in middle age, if you want to call it that, are requiring quite a boot in the seat of the pants to get you off your
Heine.
self-satisfied prison bed, if I may put it that way, and walk over to the door to your cell and try to open it so that you can discover that it never was locked. Transformation, renewal, regeneration. Your daughter embraces all of these with such carefree abandon that it scares you to death. Let's be very clear. This is exactly what I'm encouraging every single one of you to start engaging in once again. Not to create an ideal you come up with in your mind, but to be open to the ideal that the Father is expressing of Himself that looks like you and everyone and everything. Do you get the feeling from me that I don't have confidence in your capacity to do this in terms of awakening? And if you have made mistakes and we discuss them, do I make you feel like you're some kind of a jerk for having made the mistake? No.
No.
And when we talk about it clearly, do you not find yourself left in a position where you feel whole enough to go ahead and try again? Yes. So whether it's a brother or a mother or a father, what we're really talking about is being the Christ. We're really talking about being a valuable presence. Now, if I was inclined to be willful, I could make you feel like you needed to hurry up, like you're not doing it fast enough. Like, how come you're making me wait so that we can enjoy each other with no holds barred, with no veils between us, directly and fully. But I'll tell you something, that doesn't work. You can't shame your children into doing better, and I can't shame you into doing better. So, all of you need each other to have confidence in your ability to act wisely, intelligently, and in a manner that allows for unlimited growth. And when mistakes are made, all of you need compassion and ongoing expression, reassurance of your integrity, of the integrity of the one who's made the mistake. And the confidence that next time a better decision will be made because the experience has been so valuable. You see? I know you do. So it's not just about being a parent, it's about being a brother to your fellow man, whether they appear to be daughters or mothers or parents or whatever. That's the end of the answer.
Thank you again.
You're welcome. Hands. The gentleman in the Hawaiian, sort of Hawaiian print shirt there, yes.
Well, I've been listening to your last answer, and I'm basically doing what you're talking about. I'm stretching myself. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to act out where I feel God wants me to go. I'm trying to live a life of passion.
You're trying to live a life what?
Of passion. I'm trying to do what makes my heart sing, like this lady's daughter. Okay? So I have a little bit of a problem with this. In the last year, I have started 2 separate new businesses. I'm selling manufactured homes, and I'm also selling pharmaceuticals in long-term care institutions. And I had peace doing this. I felt I was guided to do all of this. But the manufactured home business is on the edge of a cliff. If this thing goes off the cliff, I could lose everything. So I guess my question is, I'm acting on all of this, and I may or may not be in a lot of trouble. Do you have any guidance?
I'm going to go to an extreme here.
That scares me.
Until you lose your mind, in other words, until you cease to be conscious, you are utterly safe, secure, inviolable, and complete. In other words, no matter how much stuff you lose, you haven't lost anything essential. If you don't know that, you will not deal with what you are faced with from your peace. It is not necessary for you to lose absolutely everything in order to find out that the very presence of you is all that's needed to have life unfold fully again. That the only essential thing is the presence of you and your mind. If you don't know this, then you cannot be fearless right now. Nothing can happen to your mind. It is absolutely impossible for your mind to be cut off or shut off and cease to function or be experienced as the presence of you. That is impossible. Even if you apparently died, you would find that you still existed as consciousness, as mind. Now, it's not necessary for you to lose everything in order to find out that in the process you lost nothing. It isn't necessary for you to lose everything in order to discover that you have lost nothing. Nothing essential. I want you to quietly be with what I've said there. I want you to quietly be with it as though it's absolute fact.
And I do believe that. I've been through this once before. I almost lost everything. And it really doesn't mean
I am sorry that you didn't lose it all, because then you wouldn't be talking to me right now feeling what you're feeling.
Well, it's not a lot of fun.
Again, though, it's not necessary to have that extreme experience. But I am encouraging you to dare to embrace it as the fact and keep it present in your awareness, because that will be the basis for your being able to tell your ego to shut up when it's filling you with images of fear and disaster.
And there are those.
There are those being suggested, but there are not those as a fact. And if you keep this in mind, then it will be easier for you to say, I am not going to dangle on the end of the fingers of my ego. I am going to choose for my peace. I'm going to become still, so that in that inner balanced place, absent of fear, I can more easily see what the appropriate next step is.
You're saying a lot there, you know that.
I know that. Stretch.
Well, I've been doing that, yes.
This is the work we're talking about. You know what? You've got to make investment in your awakening, all of you. You've got to put your life on the line, so to speak. And you've got to be willing to do it and take the consequences. Because if you're not willing to take the consequences, you don't bring full commitment to it. And when you're not 100% behind what you're doing, you can't possibly have the benefit of doing it. You all, many of you expressed that for you it's a benefit to come here because it's so difficult to trust hearing me within yourself. Paul didn't have this benefit. There was no place he could go for confirmation. There was no place he could go to hear me speak and provide input that sidestepped his doubts. He had to put his life on the line if we were going to move forward. He had to risk the chance that he was crazy. He had to risk the chance that he was making it all up. You've got to make commitment to your awakening and take the steps. You've got to do the work.